passages from which the meditation arises today are from Deuteronomy chapter 1, verses 3 to 18, and John chapter 20, verses 1 to 10. In truth, I'll be concentrating on part of the Old Testament passage, and in particular verse 17. Do not show partiality in judging, hear both small and great alike. Do not be afraid of anyone, for judgment belongs to God. In the passage we read this morning, the guidance being given by Moses was an ideal for running a nation or a state. But in the kingdom within, those of us who are following a contemplative path have to learn quite a different skill. That is, to avoid judgment. Our minds judge all the time, but we can and we must reach below those judgments. We are seeking the peace which Jesus brought, truth and love, and as the Dalai Lama said, love is the absence of judgment. That must be our goal, to face and accept all that is within us and all that happens in our lives without judgment. An enormous task, and one for which we are grateful to have help. During this meditation, I'm going to offer a practice which may be of help. And practice is the key word for the skill of non-judgment. In my experience, anyway, is among the hardest to achieve. So let us spend a few moments now just watching the breath. The importance and beauty of breath described so beautifully this morning in the liturgy. Just watching yourself. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Now aware of your feet firmly on the floor, your body on your seat. Direct that beautiful breath to any part of the body which has tension, and breathe that tension away. Now turn your attention to your mind, to that mental body which inhabits the physical, and find there any troubling thoughts, thoughts of the past, present, or future, causing disturbance in the mind. And direct that beautiful breath, that living breath, to that tension. And now become aware of the heart and the emotions and feelings which bubble up, sometimes causing distress and discomfort. And direct the beautiful healing breath to those feelings. So a practice I've found useful on the journey to non-judgment, which in my experience is a very long journey, is the practice of the 4 C's. Some of you may have met versions of this in various professional and business trainings. But in this version, it frames the goal of non-judgment. The 4 C's are: no comparing, no competing, no criticizing, and no complaining. No comparing, no competing, no criticizing, no complaining. So let us now examine each of these in turn. No comparing. How often do you compare yourself with others, favorably or unfavorably? They are cleverer, better looking, have a bigger house or a faster car. Their children are more successful. Time and time again, in all sorts of subtle ways as well as these obvious ones, we find ourselves comparing ourselves with others. From among the many, perhaps select one that you experienced recently, maybe even this morning, and hold that thought until it's very, very clear in your mind. Look beneath it to the doubt or fear that engendered it, Resolve to be quicker to catch yourself the next time. And let it go. Breathe it out. The next one is no competing. How recently did you vie with others, perhaps in an argument, determined that yours, your point of view, your opinion was the right one? Or face a task you had to do and worry, as I certainly did this morning, that you won't be up to the mark, it won't be good enough, it won't be as good as others. Find an instance from today or another day recently. Look at it honestly. Admit it. See the fear or doubt that lay behind it. Resolve to be aware of it next time it happens. Recently, during morning prayer, I sensed the words, "Your opinion is not God." And I found that very helpful, since when struggling to uphold my opinion as the gospel. Recognize what lies behind it. Fear, doubt, low self-esteem. And let it go. Release it on the out breath. Next, no criticizing. Here's a really big one. Perhaps you are someone who has learned not to criticize people openly and usually behind their back. But even if you have taken that huge step, you will find yourself constantly having thoughts of criticism of others running through your mind. Look at her hair, so much makeup. Where on earth did she find that dress? Who does he think he is, lecturing us like that? On and on, the internal criticism of others goes. Just think of an instance, even this morning. And then, and even greater, is the constant criticism of oneself. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why didn't I do that? What was I thinking of? I'm really stupid. I wish I hadn't said that. On and on and on, the internal dialogue of running oneself down. Reflect on the destructive aspects of both. resolve at least to catch yourself at it. And for now, let yourself off the hook and breathe those thoughts away. And fourth C, no complaining. We all know people who complain and moan. I had an aunt who used to see the weather as personally directed at her and moan on and on if it interfered with her plans. And even as a young child, it seemed to me a bit pointless. There isn't much we can do about the weather. Though we may not be constant complainers, we will find ourselves inwardly railing against outer circumstances. Why does this happen to me? What have I done to deserve it? And all the other many ways in which we refuse to accept the ups and downs of life and constantly try to change them. See that aspect of kicking against the pricks in yourself. Resolve to overcome it. Be aware when it happens. And for now, breathe out that sub-personality who complains. The Sufi teacher Hazrat Inayat Khan says that the two wings of spiritual transformation are independence, by which he means dependent only on the divine, and indifference. When trying to understand the depth of this, I remember in my arrogance thinking, well, English was his second language. Of course, he doesn't mean indifference, he means detachment. And that's what the Buddhists call it, detachment. But Murshid is wiser, goes deeper. He says, we can never be detached because we are all one. We are always attached, part of something greater. But to be indifferent is to be, as we saw Jesus, at peace. Whatever happens, he didn't argue or struggle. He just allowed everything to be. And even at times when you do have to fight and struggle, the goal is to do it with indifference as to the outcome. Knowing at the deepest level that all is well. So non-judgment on the contemplative path means to try to meet all circumstances without judgment. Let your thoughts flow. You can't stop them, but don't be involved with them. See your shortcomings, but don't struggle with them. And one of the best ways of staying present in this uninvolved way is, of course, to work with the breath. And I'd like us to try the following breath practice a few times. Breathe in to a count of 4. Hold for a count of 7. And breathe out for a count of 8. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. Stay present. Dissolve judgments in the beauty of who you are. And surrender into love. Thank you.